Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. My name is Deck, and if you enjoy talking about TV in any way, shape or form, you're going to feel right at home here. In today's video, I'm going to be doing my spoiler-filled review for The Mandalorian Season 2. So let's discuss. So The Mandalorian Season 2 dropped on Disney Plus about 8 weeks ago and has debuted an episode a week since then. And as of today, we now have the season finale for Season 2. And what a ride this has been. I mean, I did my review for Season 1 back in the summer when it was finally debuting here in the UK when we got Disney Plus. And you will know that I absolutely adored Season 1 of The Mandalorian. I just thought it was so fantastic, so special, so different from the rest of the Star Wars universe at that point. And I just felt so refreshed by The Mandalorian, despite the fact that I love pretty much everything that Star Wars has been doing recently. I love the sequel trilogy, I love everything else, I love all the spin-offs. The Mandalorian just felt so different and so new that I just was so lost in it all. So when Season 2 was coming about, I was incredibly excited to see where they were going to go with the story and how they were going to go with the characters. So now we have the full season out. You know, I haven't really spoken about the Season 2 on this channel because I wanted to save it to do a big review at the end of the season, so that's what this is. So let's dive into all of my thoughts on Season 2. So the story of Season 2 of The Mandalorian essentially revolves around Mando trying to get the child, or Baby Yoda, or as we now know him, Grogu, back to the Jedi and back to where he belongs. And this story for me I thought was very good and very enjoyable. However, I do feel like it does take a good few episodes to actually get going. I feel like that around episode 4 was when the story actually started to pick up, because before that, this episode or this season and the episodes that are very early on in the season feel very sidetracked and also very fillery, particularly episode 2, which is in my opinion the weakest episode of the season. That one for me was just very much this weird side quest that went on far too long and just really had no relevance to the overall story other than the fact that it got us to the planet in the next episode. It just kind of felt like that one episode, and also I think episode 3 and 4 for some degree, all kind of played a fairly non-substantial role in the season overall, despite the fact that even in episode 3 when we had Bo-Katan come in, that episode as well, despite how awesome it was and how great it was to see Bo-Katan, it had incredible action sequences, it did feel sidetracked. And I feel like a lot of this season, a good half of this season, kind of feels like that, and that's a shame. But the back half of the season absolutely slaps, and it's just non-stop. It's incredible, and as a Star Wars fan, it's just so rewarding. You know, a lot of people will claim that this is fan service, and yes, I mean, to a large degree, a lot of the season does play on fan service, but as a fan, I'm not going to complain about that because I absolutely loved it. Seeing all the cameos and stuff like that, I'm going to dive into all the big characters and stuff, but seeing all those cameos and also just seeing the story truly ramp up and how these characters went from cameos to actual characters and were actually a part of the story, that was really exciting and really fun. Seeing them interact with Mando, you know, with Pedro Pascal, was really great and really exciting. Speaking of Pedro Pascal, he is once again phenomenal in this series. He was fantastic in Season 1, he's even better here. I mean, Pedro Pascal is great, we all know he's great, but him as Mando, like, he just has this ability to portray so much emotion and so much believability without ever really seeing his face. You know, we only saw his face once in Season 1. Here we see it a couple of more times. We get a really nice couple of reveal shots for him. Like there's the shot in episode 7 where he has to take his mask off in order to, you know, infiltrate the Empire ship and the Empire battleground. That was really awesome, and it was a great sequence with him and Bill Burr. That was a great scene. And then also in the season finale, where he actually finally takes off his mask and shows his face to Grogu. That was just a beautiful moment and so emotional. But I think Pedro Pascal, you know, he absolutely kills it in this role. He's amazing as Mando, and his devotion and dedication to the child is just so endearing and adorable. He is really the best single dad in the history of, you know, cinema and TV. He's just amazing, and I just love everything he brings to this character. In Season 2, he's there tenfold. And just as a quick side note, Baby Yoda is absolutely as adorable as he was last season, and gets a few more things to play around with in this too. Obviously, we knew from Season 1 he's Force sensitive, and we knew that he kind of belongs with the Jedi, but we get to see him do some more stuff in this season. And I kind of thought perhaps the cuteness of Baby Yoda might wear off by the second season, but it really doesn't. They just make him do even more cute stuff, and he's just an absolute G. So Baby Yoda is absolutely as adorable as he was in Season 1. Now let's dive into the meaty stuff. Let's dive into the big characters and the big cameos we got throughout this season, because there was a lot. Now, at the very end of the first episode, we did see a character reveal himself who was kind of known to be in this season, but we didn't know to what extent. At least we knew that the actor was in this season, and that was Temuera Morrison as Boba Fett. And yeah, Boba Fett was just great in this season. Like, seeing him actually be the Boba Fett that we'd all heard about, but we'd never really seen on screen before, was so endearing and just so fulfilling as a Star Wars fan. Like, actually seeing Temuera Morrison actually get to play Boba Fett and actually do all those things, be the badass, mercenary that we knew Boba Fett to be, was just so exciting. And when you have that reveal at the end of the first episode, I was like, oh, sweet. Like, maybe he's going to be the villain of the season, or what's going on. But then you actually see he actually becomes an ally of Mando throughout the season, and that was great. And this also ties back into season 1, because we actually find out that he was the one who revived Fennec, which was Minal Wei's character, the actress who plays Mulan. We actually get to see her in this season a lot more too. She's a lot more prevalent. She's kind of now devoted to Boba Fett, and that was really great. Their dynamic was fun. And just seeing Boba Fett, like actually seeing him in costume, in his suit, was just incredible, and his action scenes are phenomenal, and it just makes you think, wow, like what a great character Boba Fett is. Because I've always felt like Boba Fett, while he was really cool to look at, he wasn't really much of a character in The Empire Strikes Back or Return of the Jedi, but seeing him here, you're like, yes, that's a badass, that's Boba Fett, and I love him. But before we actually saw Boba Fett, we did actually get another character introduced, which was the one of Cobb Vanth, and he was actually known as the Marshal. He was the one who was wearing Boba Fett's armor on Tatooine before Boba Fett actually returned and got his armor back. And I thought that his character, played by Timothy Olyphant, I thought he was really cool. I like the fact when he kind of shows up, you can see him in Boba Fett's armor, and obviously if you're a fan, you know that's Boba Fett's armor. But he's kind of walking around, and the armor's a bit too big for him, but he's kind of wearing it because he needs to be the sheriff of this town. I mean, he was a cool character. I'm kind of sad they never brought him back, to be honest, for the rest of the season. He's only in episode 1, but he was really good in that, and had a fantastic action sequence with Pedro in the end of the first episode, where the aspect ratio sort of just expanded out and it went widescreen, and it looked phenomenal. And it was just all these aerial scenes where they're both using their jetpacks and both shooting all over the place. It was just fantastic to look at, and I think Timothy Olyphant really fitted into this world and into this character really, really well. And I'm wondering if they maybe might bring him back in Rangers of the New Republic. If they do, I think he'd be a great fit on that show. It just depends, I guess, how busy Timothy Olyphant is, but he did a phenomenal job in that episode, and I'm really sad they didn't bring him back. But again, hopefully Rangers of the New Republic will be Timothy Olyphant's time to shine. And I mentioned her a few minutes ago, but we also got Katie Sackhoff returning as Bo-Katan. Now, this was really cool to see her in this show because, they actually got Katie Sackhoff to reprise the role. Like, she voiced her in Clone Wars and also in Rebels, and she was really, really great. And, I really enjoyed her character because there was kind of a difference between her and Mando, because obviously Mando is a very traditional Mandalorian. He's very by the book. He's very orthodox in that way. Whereas we see Bo-Katan, who's also a Mandalorian, but she's kind of like a new, younger Mandalorian in a way, who's kind of different from Mando. She sees the world differently from he does. She sees the Creed differently than he does. And she even refers to him as like a religious fascist, which I thought was interesting because you kind of see these different styles of Mandalorians now. Since that Mandalore is kind of been taken over and it's gone, and the Mandalorians have to go into exile, you can kind of see that, perhaps Bo-Katan and her group, we also had like Sasha Banks there as well. Bo-Katan and her group were kind of adapting to the new world in a way, whereas Mando has kind of very much been, no, these are the rules, this is what I follow, I never remove my helmet, no one can ever see my face, that sort of thing, this is the way, and he has been like that. Whereas I think with the appearance of Bo-Katan, it kind of allowed Mando to kind of take a look back and go, maybe I am being a bit wrong here in how I'm living my life. And I thought that was interesting. It actually made Mando kind of question himself a little bit, which I thought was really cool. And Katie Sackhoff was really good in the role. Bo-Katan provided for a lot of really fun action scenes. And again, her whole squadron, like her crew with Sasha Banks, and there was that other guy, that other Mandalorian as well. Really cool, really exciting. And, I think they were great in the finale as well, bringing them back. So it'll be interesting to see if we see any more of those characters going forward, whether it's in season 3 or, in another one of these Star Wars spin-offs. I think they could be a really cool choice for those shows. Now, the one that everyone was sort of talking about and the one that we were sort of waiting for in this season was Ahsoka Tano. And we kind of was rumored that perhaps Ahsoka was going to appear in this series, perhaps played by Rosario Dawson. And that ended up being true. And it was just, what an amazing episode. Potentially my favorite episode of the season. I don't know. I need to kind of take a look back, because also I think episode 6 is amazing, episode 7 is amazing, episode 8 is amazing. But episode 5, The Jedi, where we see Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka, absolutely incredible. You know, we haven't seen Ahsoka in live action ever before, and just seeing the way she was represented was just so satisfying because she's such a great character. She's so interesting, and you know, seeing this version of Ahsoka where she's much older, like this is even post Rebels, like she's much older at this point. She has her 2 white lightsabers. Like we've never seen white lightsabers in live action before, so seeing that was incredible. You know, really sort of further implementing that she is kind of more of a grey Jedi than anything else. But she's incredible, and I loved her action sequences. I think Rosario Dawson did an incredible job with the fight choreography. Like, the fight she has with that woman on that planet was just really fun, and again, different than what we'd seen before, because dual-wielding lightsabers is not really something we've seen much in live action, so actually seeing her do that was just fantastic. And also, like, the scene where she's just stalking around and going around in the shadows and taking people out was just... It was so different, like seeing like a stealthy Jedi, like that was sick. And again, I really liked her relationship with Mando. Obviously, she was the one who gave us the name reveal of Baby Yoda as Grogu. And, you know, even though I know a lot of people don't like the name Grogu, at the end of the day, it's just a name, like who cares? But really awesome, and I loved their little relationship that they had, that they could kind of communicate through the Force in that way, and she could kind of understand him. And, you know, I think Ahsoka, you know, she really left an impact, and I think that shows with Disney as well, as we are getting an Ahsoka spin-off. Likely that's going to continue from where Rebels kind of left off, where we're going to have her looking for Ezra and also her looking for Thrawn. So that's going to carry on in the Ahsoka series. But really great to have her in this. I think Rosario Dawson was incredible. I do find it bizarre that they didn't just cast Ashley Eckstein in the role, given the fact that they got Katie Sackhoff to play Bo-Katan. I thought it was weird they didn't get Ashley to play Ahsoka, but I think Rosario, you know, she was the fan casting, and she was fantastic in the season, so I can't really complain. And again, I just loved her character, so I'm very much excited for the spin-off. Now let's talk about that cameo in the finale. Obviously, Ahsoka did talk to Mando at the end of episode 5, saying, take Grogu to the Seeing Stone on this planet, and it'll search out for a Jedi, and a Jedi will either search for him or reach out to him in some way. And obviously nothing really came of that, but in the season finale, when everything was about to go wrong and our team was about to be compromised, we had the arrival of Mark Hamill as Luke Skywalker showing up on the ship. I mean, when we see that one X-Wing come in and, you know, Cara Dune has the line of, oh, one X-Wing was saved. And, you know, I thought maybe it was going to be the 2 X-Wing pilots that we'd seen consistently throughout the season, but it was just one. So I was like, okay, who's this going to be? And, you know, you kind of see this hooded figure walking through. You see the green lightsaber ignite. And I thought, wow, this is Luke. Like, this has got to be Luke. And seeing Luke actually arrive there, you know, we actually get to see Luke in heavy combat, which is, again, it's something we've never really seen before in live action with Luke. Like, in Return of the Jedi, we get a little bit, but this was Luke, like, going to town on these Death Troopers. Like, they were absolutely demolished by Luke. And, you know, seeing him actually in action was great, because it's just something that we've not really had the chance to fully experience before. And, you know, we actually had Mark Hamill reprise the role, which, when we first took the hood off, I kind of was thinking to myself, I was like, is that Mark Hamill, or is this Sebastian Stan, or what's going on? But it was Mark Hamill using the sort of de-aging technology that we've seen in a lot of Disney films now. And to be fair, it didn't look the best. It didn't look bad. It was slightly off-putting in a couple of shots, just because you kind of see the mouth didn't quite line up with what he was saying. But it was great to see Mark Hamill actually play Luke Skywalker again, like young Luke Skywalker again. And it makes sense. You know, Luke Skywalker at this point in time is going to start building up the Jedi again. He's going to start training the next generation of Jedi, which includes, obviously, the likes of Kylo Ren, you know, Adam Driver as Ben Solo. I mean, this does kind of confirm, unfortunately, that Kylo kills Baby Yoda. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that's ever something that will ever be addressed, but, I mean, we do know that Kylo, Ben Solo, he killed all of Luke's students. So does that mean he killed Baby Yoda? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't want Baby Yoda to die, like, be slaughtered by Kylo Ren. Like, that's just sad. But that's kind of what's suggested. I mean, if he is with Luke now, and is training with Luke, then that means surely that Kylo murders him in the future. Like, that's just terrifying to think of. But seeing Luke show up, and also R2, like seeing R2 there as well, was just beautiful, because you just kind of hear the beeps, and then he just kind of rolls in, and, you know, you can kind of see Grogu is kind of like fascinated by R2-D2, and that was really, really cute. So is this the, you know, seeing Luke there, it was just so incredible, because it was just that personal touch, you know, that personal connection. Seeing Luke actually just be a badass Jedi, you know, in live action was just incredible. And given that he now takes Baby Yoda with him, he's going to go and train him to become a Jedi. Obviously, that leaves a lot of things open. Is Baby Yoda going to be in season 3 of The Mandalorian, or is he not? I mean, it's interesting to think about. And, I think that it could bring a lot of really interesting questions to the Star Wars universe. What happens to Grogu? Does he manage to escape the murder of Ben Solo, or does he die? Does Kylo Ren murder him? Like, I don't know. So I'm excited to see what goes on with that. But, I think Luke was just an incredible cameo to end off with the season, especially because there were so many questions about which Jedi was actually going to reach out to get Baby Yoda. Because obviously there was only a few choices, really. It was either going to be Luke, it could have been Ezra, it could have been Cal Kestis was even suggested from Jedi Fallen Order, because we don't really know what happens to him past that game so far. So there was a lot of choices, but I think to get Luke was a really great choice, and I think it was just so satisfying as a fan, and I think it leaves a lot of great questions open for where we could go in Season 3, or potentially some of the other spin-off shows in the Star Wars universe. And then the season finale did actually have a post-credit scene as well, which kind of confirms something that we all knew is kind of a badly kept secret at this point, but it does confirm another new spin-off that we're getting on Disney+, which is called The Book of Boba Fett. We're getting a Boba Fett spin-off. We see him return to Tatooine. We see him return to Jabba's palace, where Bib Fortuna has now taken over and is now kind of in the role of Jabba. And we just see Boba Fett return and kill Bib in broad daylight, and now takes up the throne of Jabba's palace with Fennec. So that confirms the Boba Fett spin-off. It says it's coming in December of 2021. There has been a lot of speculation that this is Mandalorian Season 3. I don't think that's necessarily true. I mean, I know that they are filming the Boba Fett spin-off right now, and there hasn't really been much news about them filming Mandalorian Season 3. The thing that makes me believe that this could be Season 3 of The Mandalorian is the fact that the way the title pops up, like it says The Book of Boba Fett coming December 2021, like that kind of suggests that maybe that's the episode title of the first episode of Season 3. But at the same time, I don't really know if they're going to be committed to getting rid of The Mandalorian yet, unless they just chuck Mando straight onto that show. I don't know how it's going to happen. But, Mandalorian Season 2, it does kind of end in a weird place. You have the end and the closure with Baby Yoda. Like, Baby Yoda's gone now, which I guess would suggest potentially an ending. But you still have Giancarlo Esposito around, with the Darksaber and the stuff with Mandalore. Like, I don't really feel like the full story of The Mandalorian has been wrapped up yet. So I don't really feel like the Book of Boba Fett is Mandalorian Season 3. I do feel like that is its own thing, it's its own spin-off, and then Mandalorian Season 3 is going to happen. Plus, I'm pretty sure at the Disney Investor Day, they did actually say Mandalorian Season 3 was happening. So I think that they are two separate things. I just think they are, unfortunately, going to air fairly close. Because I imagine that Mandalorian Season 3 will probably debut in October, just like Mandalorian Season 1 and Season 2 did, and then the Book of Boba Fett will kind of carry on the hype from that in December, because obviously it's December now and Season 2 has just ended in December, so it'll probably end around the same time, and then Boba Fett will start from here. So I don't think that Boba Fett is Mandalorian Season 3, just because I do feel like there is still story to tell with Season 3 of The Mandalorian. So what will be the story for Season 3? As I said, Season 2 kind of ends in a weird place, because even though you have the closure of Luke taking Baby Yoda, off to train him, that is closure there, and I guess Baby Yoda might be gone. I mean, I don't know, can you really get rid of Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian? I mean, he is the most synonymous thing with the show. Can you really get rid of Grogu? I don't know. He might be back. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe that's how he escapes Kylo Ren. Like, maybe he comes back to Mando. That would be amazing. Because I don't really feel comfortable leaving Baby Yoda behind in Season 3 of The Mandalorian. But as I said, Season 2 does kind of end in a strange place, because it kind of ends in a moment. It literally ends with Luke taking Baby Yoda away, and that's it, and then it ends. But we still have Giancarlo Esposito's character of Moff Gideon. He's still there, and he's still around, and his plans are still there. Like, he literally says in this episode, I got what I needed from the child. Like, you can take him. I don't need him anymore. So there's still clearly things going on with him and his character and what he's basically building with the First Order. Like, there's clearly things going on there that seemingly link to The Last Jedi, so we have to wait and see how that goes on. But then also, it literally ends in the moment. Like, it literally ends with Mando, Bo-Katan, Fennec, like, they're all there in the ship, so where does it go from there? And also, we still have all the stuff with Mandalore. Like, this episode, especially from Bo-Katan's perspective, she was like, I need to take down Moff Gideon, I need the Darksaber, then I can reclaim the throne to Mandalore. So is that what Season 3 is going to be? Like, that's my opinion. I think Season 3 is probably going to be, you know, Mando and Bo-Katan and Cara Dune and everybody taking back Mandalore. Like, that's what I'm assuming it's going to be, because they said they needed the Darksaber and they needed Moff Gideon's ship in order to take back Mandalore. So I think that's what Season 3 is going to be. My biggest question is, what's happening with Baby Yoda? Like, is he coming back in Season 3, or is he just gone now? I guess it's something I'll have to wait and see. Seems like Boba Fett is obviously gone. He could show up in Season 3, but I think more than likely we're just going to not see him now until his spin-off show. So for me, in my opinion, I think Season 3 of The Mandalorian is probably going to be Mando and Bo-Katan teaming up to take back Mandalore from the Empire. That's what I feel like this is going to be, and kind of rebuild Mandalore and almost breed in this new age of Mandalorians, where it's kind of going to be a combination of Mando's beliefs and Bo-Katan's beliefs, and it's going to be this new modern era of the Mandalorians, which I think would be a really exciting way to end the series. Like, I think that would make sense as the final season to rebuild Mandalore. So that's how I think this is going to go down. But my big question now is, what's going to happen to the child? Where is he? What's he going to do? I guess I'll have to wait and see. So overall, The Mandalorian Season 2 for me was just absolutely fantastic. Again, I do feel like the season isn't perfect. I do feel like the first half of the season isn't the strongest, and it does have a couple of weak episodes in there, and they do feel a bit sidetracked, despite the fact that they are fun episodes in their own right. They just don't really contribute much to the overall story. Especially episode 2 is a really weak one in my opinion. I thought the episode was way too long for what it was. You know, if you could take episode 2 out, I think it'd be incredible. And, you know, unfortunately, when you have a season that's only 8 episodes long, I'm less forgiving of filler episodes. And that was a true filler episode, in my opinion. But I just thought the back half of the season truly made up for it. Like, it's just all the reveals, all the surprises, all the action, the story. It just all came together in such a beautiful way. And I think that this is truly a Star Wars fan's dream. Like, Mandalorian is just everything a Star Wars fan wants, in my opinion. I mean, you can't please every Star Wars fan, because Star Wars fans are awful people, including myself. But I just absolutely think that this is just a truly killer Star Wars property, and I cannot wait to see what they do with Season 3, this Boba Fett spin-off, the Ahsoka spin-off, Rangers of the New Republic is technically a spin-off of Mandalorian. Like, there's so much cool stuff coming from this universe. I cannot wait to see more. And Season 2 did not disappoint. Again, even though I do think it's a little slow in the beginning, it does take a good couple of episodes to actually get the story rolling. I think it's a great season nonetheless, and I think a great season in the long run when it all comes together. So there you have it, guys. There's my thoughts on The Mandalorian Season 2. What do you think? Make sure to let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. What did you think of the story? What did you think of the characters? And where do you think it's going to go for Season 3? And also, are you still jamming out to that soundtrack? Because I know I absolutely am. I forgot to mention that, but Ludwig Göransson absolutely killed it once again with the score in this season. But what did you think of it? Make sure you let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. And as always, if you want to see more TV reviews, TV talk, and everything else in between, make sure you leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss any videos from me. And I hope to see you guys again next time.